Oh God. I don't really know what's going on right now. There is a lot. It feels like the sky is kind of falling right now. The Bears are kind of in disarray at the moment. We're 0-2 to start the year. I wanted to make this video kind of expanding a little bit, looking at the season and what it's gonna look like right now because things are not going well right now. So first of all, today it was announced that Braxton Jones is headed to IR. He's going to miss at least 4 games. That is horrible. That is a horrible blow for an offensive line that was already missing 2 starters last week. Potentially, we're going to be having 3 backups this week. And the 2 starters left are Cody Whitehair and Lucas Patrick. And Darnell Wright. Wait, Lucas Patrick isn't a starter. Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright. And it's like, man, what is happening right now? And O-line was already an issue, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And then you look at Justin Fields' press conference, where he said what I had already speculated the other day. He was basically saying that he overthinks too much in the pocket, coaches are in his ear too much, and he wants to just grip it and rip it like he used to back in the day. That is exactly pretty much verbatim what I thought was going on. Turns out I was right. Yeah, Justin, you just got to do it, bro. Just get out there and do it because good God, do we need you. So the Bears are going to go face Kansas City this week. It's not looking great at all. I'm really perplexed by what's going on here with the with the coaching staff with Alan Williams because he's been away from the team and Flus even said like he doesn't know if he's going to be back. Flus wouldn't even say if he's still the defensive coordinator. So did they fire him and just not tell anybody? Like what is going on right now? This team is it's not necessarily a Tressman level collapse that's going on right now with like a locker room mutiny, but it looks like the foundation is crumbling and it's about to give way to something like that because you got Justin openly admitting his frustrations with the coaching staff. You got the coaching staff in disarray without our defensive coordinator and our OCs calling just horrible plays. And then you got our wide receivers are like if you watch the tape from last week, you could see like DJ Moore during the game when he was running his route was like doing this because he was open and Justin wasn't throwing it. Like, what is going on right now? Like, it feels like everything is just kind of like bubbling to the surface right now. Like, this is not good. Like, I know it's only been 2 games. Everything could turn around, whatever. But wow, like just the way it's all going on right now, this is nothing like the culture that they tried to put in last year and what we thought we had this year. They're taking tons of penalties, which is something we said we weren't going to do anymore. Our secondary is depleted. Eddie Jackson's going to be out for a little bit. Kyler Gordon is going to be out for a few more games still with the broken hand. Injuries are ruining us. Our coaching staff is losing the trust of its players. The players are getting frustrated. Justin Fields is the leader of the team, and he's out here basically calling out the coaches for being in his ear too much. Like, this is weird. Like, this could potentially turn into a really bad situation here. So, we're in for a rough ride here. So the Bears have to go on the road this week, face Kansas City in Arrowhead. It's going to be America's Game of the Week. So national TV, everybody's going to be able to watch that game. Predicting the Chiefs to win by 3 touchdowns right now. We'll see how that goes. I mean, based on how Justin is talking and he's saying what we're saying, that he knows that he's hesitating too much and he just wants to go out there and just play freely like his old self. If that's to be believed, then we're in store for a great Justin Fields game. But do you really think that's going to happen with this O-line? I don't know. Chris Jones, I feel like, is going to have 17 sacks tomorrow. Like, it's that bad. Like, I'm seriously losing all optimism I had in this team because it's heading towards, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is 2 top 10 picks, a brand new quarterback and either a brand new wide receiver or a brand new blindside blocker or an edge rusher of some kind. And we're ditching Justin, and Darnell Mooney's gone, and Chase Claypool is gone, and Jalen Johnson is gone, and Eddie Jackson is gone, and we basically just have to keep rebuilding again. And this is the same cycle that teams like the Browns and the Lions got caught up in. If you look at the last 10 years, that's how it's looked for us. And it's just the same problems just keep happening. Case in point, the quarterback. Why does every quarterback Chicago have seem to always fizzle out? The pattern that they all have is they all have had to go through multiple coaching staffs. It started with Rex, got drafted by Dick Jauron in 2003. Dick Jauron gets fired at the end of that season. Lovey comes in and he has to inherit Rex Grossman and he has to coach him. Then they ended up getting Rex out of town, bringing in Jay Cutler for Lovey and Jerry Angelo's staff. Lovey and Angelo get canned, so then Emery has to deal with Cutler. Emery also gets canned, so John Fox has to inherit Cutler for a couple of years. Then John Fox sends Cutler out, drafts Mitch Trubisky. John Fox gets canned. Matt Nagy comes in, has to coach Mitch Trubisky. Mitch ends up getting run out of town. Matt Nagy brings in Justin. Matt Nagy gets canned. Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy then have to coach Justin. You see this pattern of offensive staffs coming in and having to coach a quarterback that they didn't even want, that they didn't even pick themselves. And then when they do get the chance to pick them, they still aren't good. So then they get canned and then somebody else comes in. They still inherit that quarterback and they restart the cycle. It's looking like we're going to ditch Justin at the end of this year. Probably going to keep Flus though, and I hope we don't. If we do, we better not draft a rookie quarterback. But I know they will because we're going to have a super high pick. I want them to just like, I don't even know. I don't want them to keep Getsy and Flus and those guys. We can't keep getting in the way of our own quarterback's development. This is a pattern with every quarterback we've tried to develop for the last 20 years. You have to just start clean slate, new coach and new quarterback, let them learn together. Because having them off cycle like that, like listen to any quarterback talk about having to learn a different offensive system. They talk about it like it's learning a whole nother language because you pretty much are. The signal calls are all different. The whole playbook is different. When you're a quarterback, you got to memorize a ton of combinations of routes and concepts. And that's not even bringing in the wide receivers or the offensive linemen who are also being dragged into multiple offensive systems. We cannot keep doing this. And if you're going to get rid of Justin, you have to get rid of Getsy and Flus too. Because I do not want to keep this cycle going. And it's looking like it's headed right there. You need to just cut the cord and be like, hey, wow, they have the worst win-loss record of any Bears head coach of all time right now. It's probably like, you could say they were tanking last year, but were they? Like, I think we always just assumed that they were losing on purpose, but man, I don't know anymore. Like, based on, if this is them trying, what they're doing right now, they're trying to win, then last year wasn't a tank year. We just suck. We just have the wrong staff. We didn't lose on purpose. It just happened. And if that's the case, then, man, we royally messed this up then. If you are going to continue with this, you have to have some continuity. You cannot ditch the quarterback but keep the staff, or ditch the staff and keep the quarterback, which I seriously doubt they're going to do. I don't think Justin in a new system is going to magically turn good. But we just can't keep getting caught in this rookie cycle. Our defense looks bad, like real bad. And this is not an untalented defense, but especially with a depleted secondary, it's going to stay bad. I could see us seriously, I could see us seriously being sellers at the deadline. Bojack gone. Jalen Johnson gone. Mooney probably gone. Because if we're ditching Justin, I seriously doubt that we would want to keep Mooney. I would love to keep Mooney. Mooney's a great player. But all that losing wears on you after a while. And I don't think they want to lose. Like Cole Kmet, I think he stayed and wanted to sign an extension because this was his hometown team and his parents live 40 minutes away. And it's so like this is not how you build a roster. Like, these guys aren't going to want to stay. And eventually you're going to get guys that are like going to want out and like requesting trades and stuff like that. And it's a dangerous game to play because of how bad we are and how disappointing the season was. You can even see the players were buying into the hype. You're 0-2 against two teams that were not supposed to be super difficult. You weren't supposed to lose these games by multiple scores. You were supposed to win both of these games. We should have been, by any means, 2-0. Very least, we should have been 1-1. Instead, we're 0-2. We look woefully inept on both sides of the ball. And now we got to play the Chiefs. And then we play, I believe, the Broncos after that. Like, if you look at our schedule, it doesn't get any easier. I don't think we have like a layup game until when we face the Cardinals. So, and that's not until late in the year. Like, our schedule's not a cakewalk. And like, there's a few games on there that you could be like, it's a toss-up game. But I thought the Bucs game was a toss-up game, and we ended up looking very, very bad. So, if you're the Bears, you need to look at what's going on here, and you need to say, yep, this isn't working. Cut the cord, get them out, let's go. But I don't trust this franchise to do that. The season outlook now is very, very grim. So it's looking like, based on what's going on now, I don't think you fix this team. I don't think this team's ever going to magically just get good. Maybe if we all stayed healthy, then yes. At the very least, the coaches are not going to make this work. And then the players are getting hurt. This team isn't going to magically... The D-line and O-line aren't going to magically get better. The quarterback maybe could get better. The play calling, it's a bunch of different problems that I find a hard time believing that all of a sudden all of them are just going to get fixed and we're just going to start winning again. So looking at the outlook of this season, it's looking like it's going to be another tank year, which is, I don't know how this fan base and this city and this ownership is going to be able to handle something like that. It's going to doing something like this is going to seriously damage your team, because this is the kind of stuff that the mid-2010s Browns did, and I don't even think they still recovered from that, because that culture was just so bad. Nobody wants to go there because they know you're going to lose. One tank year was fine. You can live through that. But back-to-back tanking seasons is... Jeez. So, I'm not quite sure where this season is headed. Obviously, we could turn it around and finish with like 7 or 8 wins. But, if we start 0-7, you might as well just like let it ride for the rest of the year. And people will say fire Flus or start Bagent. But, hey, if the tank ain't broke, don't fix it. Because at the end of the tunnel is Caleb Williams. At the end of the tunnel is Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's worth it. So just be careful here, because this might be really bad. Like, this rebuild has a lot more work to do. We might have to start a whole nother rebuild here. So it's just hard to make sense of all this, I don't think anybody thought we would look this flat out the gate. But here we are. And we got 3 starters missing on O-line. We got 2 starters missing from our secondary. Our defensive line still looks absolutely terrible. Our quarterback is not taking the steps we need. And our coaches are not helping things at all. If anything, they're making it worse. There's going to be a lot of Bears fans jumping ship after this season, because you can only take so much losing. And, like I'm on the wait list for season tickets for the Bears. After 2021, I jumped up like 1,200 spots in that list. After last year, I only jumped up like 300 or 400. If this season goes the way I think it's gonna go, I'm gonna get my tickets tomorrow. Like people are gonna call it a day and they're gonna be like, you know what, I've had it with this, and just leave and stop being fans. And it starts at the top. It starts, and it's exactly what I talked about, where Ryan Poles, when he came in, he didn't get to pick the coach that he wanted. He got to pick out of a short list, but he didn't assemble that short list. So it's hard to believe they messed it up this badly, but here we are. I don't know what to do with all my stuff here. I got 3 Fields jerseys. If you look behind me, there's like 2 Fields photos and a plaque, or 3 Fields photos and a drawing of him. I have 3 Fields jerseys, which I mentioned before. I got a photo over there. He was my favorite player. He might be my favorite player I've watched. Still. Like, who else do I even have? I've been watching since, like, 2018, like, hardcore watching. I was watching a little bit before that, but, like, super into it watching. Fields is probably the most exciting player I've seen out of that group. Everybody else kind of fizzled out. I guess Khalil Mack. But I felt the night he got drafted, I was so excited. But, yeah, here we are. So, yeah, at least the Blackhawks have Connor Bedard now. At least the Cubs are maybe making the playoffs. I don't know what's going on with them. But the Bears, geez, it's going to take a few more years. It's going to take a while.